Today we are going to discuss why women are dumb. I've gotten a lot of comments, a lot of personal DMs saying, you talk so much about personal development, how to get fit, how to get money, the right mindset to approach life with. Well, women is also an aspect of that discussion, an important one indeed. So your cries have been heard and your prayers are about to be answered. Why women are dumb and how to treat them accordingly. That's the prompt of tonight's discourse. And some of you in the comment section would try and tear me down by this radical approach towards life. Unfortunately, I'm a pragmatic individual. I do what works. Understand the nature of a human being and act accordingly, which is the problem with you simps. You would sit, pretend you do not like the girl, take her out to dinner, give her every single thing. She elicits your masculine energy. And guess what? You get nothing in return. You are effectively being scammed. And any man who decides to engage in that stupidity deserves to be exploited. That's exactly what it is. In fact, women understand this intuitively, that in order to get the best aspect of a man, they have to give up sexual access. So you're in a unique scenario where she's eliciting the degree of masculine energy, because as much as you would like to state you're just friends, she still takes a degree, or it takes a degree of boyfriend energy to be a woman's friend. You have to step up in certain situations, you have to pay for stuff, you have to go out to dinner, those kind of things. So a woman would sit and analyze the game as a professional. So you mean you're going to listen to me talk trash, validate my beauty, talk about my cramps and hair, and we're not going to have intimacy? Of course, I'll take it. Why won't you? My apologies, it's getting a bit dark in here, but focus on my voice as opposed to my face. The point I'm trying to highlight is, as a professional and as a man, even worse, you must sustain the ability to decipher what people say they want and what they actually respond to. Take the subject of humility and arrogance. Everybody says, be humble, be humble, be humble. But it's the humble guy who gets stepped upon. In fact, I was having this discourse with a very big pastor over here in Africa, and he condemned the way I speak, the way I teach. He said, it's too brash. You must teach with love, and proceeded to give me the list of good virtues. I didn't mean to answer back, because I'm a very diplomatic individual. When you sit before greatness, you should know how to conduct yourself. I said, behold, I've sent you as sheep unto wolves. This scripture reminds you of your habitation, but also shows your destination. We moved on, we switched topic. Then on our way home, my friend asked for an enlightenment to that statement, to that infinite wisdom. And I said to him, the same discourse which we're talking about now. Give me a minute, let me turn on the lights. Problem solved. And I said to him, there's a huge difference between what people say they want and what people actually respond to. We've reiterated the analogy of trampling on the humble ones. But arrogance, it seems when you're arrogant, when you're brash in your communication, people tend to listen more. When you aggravate people, in fact, what's the whole point of motivation? It's a very interesting analogy I just came up with my infinite mind. What is the whole message of motivation? Exactly. Telling you your life is shit, telling you your excuses don't matter, telling you regardless of how you feel, you need to get up your ass and do exactly what it is. Exactly. So you must sustain the unique ability to distinguish from what people say they want and what they actually respond to. A woman will come along, you need to understand women are very emotional. They act on emotions. How they feel takes precedence over logic. That's why you can take a woman out to the best hotels, take her out to dinner, you can give her the best experience, and she'll come back before 12 midnight and say, get upset over an Instagram like. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? You've never done anything for me. And you're like, I just did this, and the list comes. And she goes, well, I didn't force you to do all that. Everywhere becomes blurry. In fact, I understand why the average man hits his lady. Imagine giving a woman every single thing and she hits you with that 2 points combo. You've never done anything for me. I didn't force you to do all that. That's like a collabo, a combo. Once she hits you with that, you're done. It's KO. So I understand the plight of the average man. The nucleus of this discourse is, as radical as my point of views are, I still get women. Not necessarily because I'm 6'4", confident, assertive in my points, charismatic, and all of the infinite virtues you admire me for. It's not because of that. Understand how women operate. So you must sustain the ability to stop listening to her and watch what she actually responds to. I'm sure you're thinking, Ifeanyi is putting on a Madrid shirt. Is he a fan? The answer is no. I picked it off the trash can and I decided to put it on. No. For the sake of time, we'll end it here. As always, my friends, a pleasure speaking to you. See you in the next one.